right. It's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call the Monday, June 10, 2024 Design Review Committee meeting to order. Please make sure your mics are on so that people, and you're speaking into it so that people on Zoom, if there's anybody, can hear us. And let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag. One day. Before I open public forum, I want to make sure we're okay with a slight change to the agenda. I have a conflict of interest with item C, 83 Badger, because it's within the 300 feet from my home, my property. So I'd like to ask if we can put that to the end, and I'm sorry to make the applicant sit and put through everything else, but hopefully we can go really quickly tonight. So that's okay with everybody? And then, I don't know, John, maybe you can take over when I leave and conclude the meeting. Okay, thanks. Item number 3 is the public forum. Any person may address the committee regarding matters that are not on this agenda. Anybody? Is there anybody on Zoom? Okay. Moving on to item number 4 is the consent agenda. We have the special design review committee minutes of May 17th on there. Any questions, comments on those minutes?
I've read them. I will move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. And we'll head into item 5A, which is 170 Amador Road. Do you want to go ahead and introduce this one?
So the applicant is requesting a design clearance for the installation of replacement windows, same size, a different style. They're vinyl windows versus it looks like they have aluminum frames, single pane, and they have provided photos. Karen, if you can scroll down a little bit. Oh, yeah.
They'll be happy to get rid of those sweaty aluminum ones. Any questions or comments on this one?
It wasn't real clear. There's like for like, and it's the entire exterior of the windows. Okay. And we're not replacing the sliding glass door with anything other than a sliding glass door. It's not a French door.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're replacing the sliding glass door with the 4-panel sliding glass door instead of a 2-panel.
Okay. But it's the 4-panel is really still 2 sections.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't see any trim being added or any additional, so it looks pretty straightforward to me. We don't, normally have a big deal with replacing improved windows for efficiency.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move to forward this project, approve this project to move forward for permitting.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I didn't know if she got that.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. This is how I like to go on a meeting. Item number B is 230 Mill Street. Perry is the applicant, and they're here, but Erin, do you want to introduce it real quick?
Yes. So the applicant at 230 Mill Street is requesting design clearance for a remodel and an addition to a single-family residence. We will see that the existing structure is a little over 600 square feet. They're adding almost 800 square feet. So take it to about 1,400 square feet with a 160 square foot patio. The overall shape and style of the home is remaining the same, and they've included plans for that. And on the last page of the plans is the color of the house. I think they called it a craftsman. In reviewing the design guidelines, I would say it is craftsman or national style.
I was gonna say
More,
national.
well, yeah, more national. Craftsman.
And so I reviewed it under the national style
Okay.
objectives. The national style objectives, and it is consistent with those. And you'll see the design standards that I pulled from the code and included in the staff report. Oh, okay.
No. Yeah. We'll pass along. We get black and white in the agenda packets, so
Right.
pretty earthy. What?
Pick them up.
Ah.
Didn't, but I usually do, so we usually have.
Is the lighter color the trim and the, okay.
Nice.
Anybody else want to start? I had a little difficulty. I did go to the site, so it looks like essentially the width on the set property stays the same. The additions towards the rear, so the entry, although most people come in to the back door anyway, the entry is still the same front. Okay. Because of what the extension of the roof and the other. Okay. Let's see, I don't know if changing the pitch at the backside makes a big difference, but it would eliminate the peak somewhat in the front. I don't know what the pitch reduces down to. Yeah. Okay, so you have higher ceilings inside? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Because what we get didn't actually have the pitch, on the rest
5,
section.
12, 512.
5 and 12 is the back.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's
Good,
it's
durable.
all 5 and 12 except for the porch.
Okay. I didn't see anything that would affect the standards, especially if we keep the same venue and call it a shotgun
More of an.
or folk Victorian.
Yeah.
But I don't see the craftsman elements as much. Sharon?
Any other questions or comments on this one?
That they're doing, let's see. Roof. Yeah. They're
You have little ones? You need the room.
Yeah. She has growing boys.
No, they're still gonna put a metal roof on, so. What I prefer.
One thing I wonder about is if the gable that comes over the top of the house simply had a old-fashioned slotted kind of vent there, it would match a lot of the houses around Sutter Creek have those where they. Okay, because I see up there that it looks like vertical siding there. Yeah, it would make sense and right. Uh-huh. Right, probably so, right. I mean, the larger it can be to relate to that whole space could probably be the best looking way to make it where it actually took practical, except for maybe a piece of trim, a barge board on either side at the top coming down. And then that'd make the space, the vent a little bit smaller, and it would be similar to a lot of the house. Our house has one just like that. Yeah, they're tricky to make, but great.
And it's really an upslope, unless you're actually adjacent neighbors, you probably will not see that. Because it's on an upslope.
And you're still doing a metal roof?
I mean, the only thing I would say is I think that the house, I don't think it's strictly speaking a national house or a craftsman house.
No, I agree.
But it doesn't, but I think that it fits in with the notion of a national house and it simply has different details in various places, but at least it has some relationship to those. What's that? Oh, I think that's
Yeah.
us looking around
Yeah.
for a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, but at least it meets, it doesn't go against the,
Standards.
We call it
See-
the mother lode style.
yeah, mother lode style, so that's what I'm trying to get at.
The key in the standards is compatibility with the adjacent contemporary neighborhood. And that vintage in that Mill Street area, you're not changing the compatibility there. So that's what I would look for.
Thank you.
It's not like elsewhere where you can change compatibility. Okay,
Okay,
need a motion. You want me to do another one? Okay.
Oh, I move that we, I always haven't got this down yet.
you're fine.
I move that we adopt the, approve the,
Proposed design.
please, I'm sorry. Is that?
Proposed design, yeah. Okay, I have a motion to have a second.
I would second.
All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Have fun, yay. We're going to jump to item D, which is 71 Main Street.
Yes.
This
So the
is
applicant is requesting a design clearance for the installation or the repair of a railing on the second floor of the building. One of the reason, this is coming to the planning commit, or I'm sorry, the design review committee as they went to go get a building permit for it. And because anything that requires a building permit on Main Street requires design clearance.
Right.
So they are replacing the railing. Karen, if you could scroll down to the picture, there we go. So the same, it will be the same as what is there now, and they're adding that the black pole on the bottom, and that is to meet building code. And the building official or the building inspector, plan checker has reviewed this to make sure that it, as proposed, meets code.
Okay,
Want me to jump in? Okay. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing in this illustration because so very often what people do to meet the height changes in the code is to put that pipe or railing above the top, okay, which is what the county did with the old hospital, et cetera. I like this at the bottom, and then at least the flavor and the character of the original railing design is predominant, and then the top cap is predominant. So I think I'm visualizing of that. I'm just sorry that it wasn't left intact for me to actually refresh my memory of what it looked like. But the over and all next slide picture doesn't give me flavor. But I do like the design, so I don't think I have a real issue. Mike wants to weigh in some.
So, well, I think
Oh.
what I'm gonna maybe speak for Mike here for a sec. He was talking with Karen earlier and I think the application that he may want to run a couple other things by the committee. No. Okay, then never mind.
Whoa. historic structures.
may not know it, died 30 years ago on that very grave.
Really?
So I have an intimate knowledge of that. I think.
Yeah, she was looking at it, painting it.
So.
What's first?
I saw my wife's head
Oh.
in a pool of blood. I 30 years ago. And you might question.
I don't question.
Oh,
Oh, then flipping over.
then let's just go. Hi, Karen.
What? Now?
42.
It's just do it. It's gonna be done in the proper sense. You know
Yeah.
that.
I think it's a clever way to do that. Nobody looking up there is gonna notice that black bar. in
Right,
there.
that was Dave's, actually. That was
That's
clever.
smart.
Or Paul Village's. It's actually, rather than above, it's
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
It's gonna disappear.
It'll
That-
just
that was my
disappear.
comment.
Thank you. Hi, Karen. I pre-cried in case I had to break.
I know.
It was,
So what are we talking about? Are we on to?
But if
Thank
that
you.
happens,
We're still discussing, so.
your wife 30 years ago, we've had 30 years to fix the situation and they still
But-
haven't. so-
We're
Well, let's
here
stand-
to fix the situation, and I want to, John Otto, I want to sit on your book there, that the things we've relied on, and I want to change it, particularly for ratings. So thank you for considering a simple solution.
I think it's a great, it would be a great addition to
Yeah.
our
Right.
architectural regulations.
Keep it hip and cool.
To show that,
not
yep.
One by one railings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dave, bro,
Yeah.
I should sit down, but like I told you, I'm Irish, I'm pretty proud. Thank you.
You're welcome.
question?
Just a little
I-
further question, but Mike, and when you're both here, I was going to ask one more question. So so we're actually, for the fix, I'm looking what, I took a photo. For structural reasons, we are replacing the columns and the posts that are deteriorated.
We're replacing valves.
Okay. Yeah, okay. What about the decking itself? It's sound? Good. Huh? I care.
There's some other things that we can do to it. It should be looked at on a regular basis and freshened up, especially when you have new influence and ideas.
Okay. It's a good solution. Keep that in mind and let Larry know he can recommend it for future projects. Yeah. Yeah. That's what Main Street is, yeah. Okay.
Use a square soffit.
Okay. So,
Does the, do the
Sorry,
wood
Mike.
posts, it looks like,
If you could talk into the mic.
oh, sorry. The second floor, just I'm curious about one thing. The second floor posts, they're gonna have the diagonal chamfer at the corners, just like the first? Yeah. I get that. I'm glad that's been engineered. I was just wondering if, on the first floor, the posts are square, but they have a chamfered corner. And then on the second floor, I was just wondering if they're going to have the same chamfered corner. Yes, I would, right, but I'm fine, I'm glad to hear that it was engineered for that. So that they are going to have the chamfered, oh, okay, all right, because I couldn't tell from looking at the ground floor. Now, respectfully to everyone here, I have a completely different point of view about the railings. To me, if you leave the railing at the height that it is now and build, I know there is no railing now, but you have the design for that railing. You're going to reproduce that design as it is above the rails, as I understand. And my sense of it is if you reproduce the railing as it is and simply leave it at the bottom part of the space for each of those, you know, lower with a 4-inch above to meet code for the bottom rail, it's going to look much more like the existing building. The black rods that go across above will mostly go away, especially if you use a color that has a little bit of blues into it. It will recede considerably, and it will look much more like the existing structure, which I think it's our call to make to as much as possible respect the existing structure. And that's why I was looking at that. And so, you know, I mean, I think I'm outnumbered here on this, but that's fine. And perhaps it can be done either way. I'm not sure, as long as it has two railings on either the top or the bottom.
Karen, can we go back to the example, the profile? Thank you.
I understand what you're saying. I've just, having been doing this for a while, most of what we've seen is where they've added the rail on the top. And it ends up being more visible to
visible.
me.
Right.
Too visible, and then it looks, especially if you're going with something metal, it looks, on top, it just seems to look modern to me.
Perhaps. Right. And so, but I do, I mean,
Tell me your concern.
it's not, it's only that when, in terms of what we are proposing for people to do, it's rare that we actually get a case where we could look at it and have a difference of opinion, because there's clearly a lot going on here with it. And I'm simply taking the case, taking the side of trying to make the building, the railing look as much alike from as it looks now, keeping the railing at the same height and having the rails above, because the wood railing, the wood parts are very solid overall. There's not a lot of gaps there. And so you get a sense of, because it's a very solid element running across the whole base, it feels to me like it would go away more if you have the rods on top. You know, I mean, I have a background in architecture, and, you know, and then there's my husband who has a background. We took one look at that, and we were both in agreement. But that doesn't mean we're right. It means that we, you know, rarely do agree with one another, but we did in this case. And so, you know.
You see the railing at the corner.
Yeah, we're across the street.
Sutter.
Across the street?
They need to pay attention.
Well, what kind of attention do you want me to pay?
I built it 16
Oh,
years
okay.
ago. That PRC, you think it's 120 years old.
Okay.
Wrong.
Okay.
We need to make life nearly die.
I didn't say that I was.
Okay, stop.
He's not arguing about the height, Mike.
About making rails code and cool. To ask for a minor thing of 4 inches of iron bar that disappears, none of you will ever see ever again. And 4 inches again, the duplication of a railing. Stop.
We're okay.
Hurting my head.
We're okay, Mike, I think.
Okay, stop.
We're all on the
Well,
same-
we're okay.
Mostly on the same page.
When I look at,
Okay.
Flat.
okay, you
Well,
done?
either way, it's extending the
I-
rail up.
Well,
So, I gave the applicant an opportunity that I thought was they submitted some other things that didn't, the application was submitted. And from what I understand, there are other things that they want to do. And I was trying to give the applicant an opportunity to talk about that, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Some paint colors. So I don't know if either of you want to speak to that because it was not included. It was not included in the original application. It was just sent to Karen today. And so I said, well, let's give the committee, let's tell them that they are planning on painting and see what kind of, if they want to make that decision here right now, or if they would like them to resubmit the application or submit a new application. So,
Are you done? Were you going to tell us what colors you're thinking of using?
It's right there.
Okay.
So what's the
Carried
base
green,
is,
yeah.
what color is the base?
Do you have a sample?
this
What-
is, these are the colors.
What's going where? Which color is going where?
Well, neither one of those are.
So Karen, scroll so we can see the top one.
Oh, there it is.
Pilgrim
We
Haze.
don't see any colors.
I don't see any colors, black and white.
Sort of do.
This display reads
Okay,
this is
so the
accurate.
colors are from Benjamin Moore, and unfortunately, again, small county paint company got shut down.
You can get them at Aces.
Lovely, pardon me?
This-
Get them at Aces. They took it over,
Okay, thanks. Right,
not in that location.
but, it's Pilgrim Haze, Cherry John Green, with the doors, shuttered.
Okay, so now we're talking about the wall, not just the railing.
I feel like maybe this needs to come back with all the information.
Oh,
Yeah. Can we, wait a minute, time out. I think it makes most sense because it's really hard to see those colors on the screen because you're saying that's like a blue-gray and that's not a blue-gray to me. I would like to take action tonight on your railing. And then if you can bring the colors back, because you're not ready to paint yet, right?
So the
main
body
part
of the building, the walls of the building are Pilgrim Haze.
I'm, Aaron, no, we're done. We're over here. We're over here now, Mike.
We don't have enough information to move forward on
Okay.
that paint.
Here's what we can do to hammer down, is because the roof is off, if we can at least paint the top part, the parapet of the building, you've all seen, but never actually ever seen. So if we could do that before Dave puts in the roof, it hasn't happened in 6 years. So if we can at least get the color on the top of the parapet, western side, western.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike, but I'm gonna just
I'm just
butt in
thinking-
here like I often do. I'm willing to make a motion to resolve the railing, which is the application in front of us. I can't agree with the chair that basically we don't have enough clarity of the extent of your painting request. And if you want to come back in 2 weeks, you can still paint it. But I will make a motion on the railing, but I'm not going to make a motion relative to painting at this point.
Well, the meetings technically are once a month. We can schedule a special meeting if we want, or
Wait for, are we waiting for just to see colors?
Yes.
And what's,
We were approving the, John's made a motion. Let me deal with this motion first, please. You,
I'm willing to make a motion.
can we go ahead and, I
Okay.
will entertain a motion on the railing so we can get that past us.
Okay.
first,
Section,
please.
for item D here, for the railing, I find the proposal totally acceptable to standards. I like it, actually. And we'll make a motion that this portion of the project move forward.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, stay saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It's 3-1. Okay, the colors. I'm, if we can entertain,
It's another image that came in.
Right, so target. But he did that on his own time. Clever lad he is. Years old. Did that is build a cave. Carries down green.
okay, that's green's almost neon.
And the
So
light
I,
Maybe you guys can provide a little bit of feedback right now, because it,
yeah, I think I don't, I like the idea of the gray and the, the bone white.
Very like.
Gray to light blue. I have a little concern with the green. But I would like to see the paint chips. And so if you can bring those back. Okay. But you can get them at Ace.
Yeah, Ace has been for more paint.
Okay, so you can get them there. So if we can bring them,
And clearly identify. what-
but if you move forward, the shutters were green, right? That's dark, yeah, if it's, I mean, if you want to proceed, it's at your own risk, but essentially, I don't think anyone has any issue with the base color, yes, or the.
I don't know what, I can't visualize right now what surfaces and go take a look at the
Okay.
building and get an idea of where it functions
okay.
without being part of the application.
Okay, so,
I don't think we should do that. That's a building where.
No, I agree. I'm good. Okay. Well, okay.
okay, so let's bring that back in 2 weeks, if that's okay. And get us the samples and where it is on the building.
Karen, go back to where I can get the numbers off of the paint chips. Okay, hold on, HC, what does that say? I did, I just talked to her a second. Terry,
HC 130.
is HC ceramic color
Done with this
134,
application.
what does
Right.
that say? One,
Yeah,
that's
134.
134.
okay,
So,
what,
yeah, I don't know where the black is.
black is black, I don't think,
Karen, could you go up to?
Back up.
Can- I think I'm done with this application.
Yeah,
myself today.
And because we need to be ready for planning commission here in a minute. So I,
Yeah.
what does the page say?
2132-50.
Okay. All right, I'll pick those up tomorrow. I'm not gonna get black or white, guys, so.
Yeah, okay. All right. You have you guys' orders. We're going to come back in 2 weeks on that one. So we're done with that. And I'm going to go to,
Wait,
Thank you for the railing design. I think it's good.
white, black,
we're not
We
approving
don't
any
have an
colors
application
tonight.
for it, yeah.
They're bringing them back in 2 weeks. They can move ahead at their own risk, knowing that it looks like we only have a little bit of issue with the green. Next item is 53 Main Street. This is the Hotel Sutter
Yes.
project.
So again, they're asking for a design
you,
clearance for the decorative railings in front of it for outdoor dining. Last time this came to the design review committee, there was questions about accessibility. So we looked over what is required, had the building inspector also look over what is required. And it's their plan meets it with some revisions. What they have taken out is they are removing the tabletop or the bar top counter or the counter height counter out there. And they are going to use tables out there instead. And they're just going to have the railing and they have enough openings. They took off some of the returns on the railings. So they'll have openings so people can access, there's the accessibility
and
is
they're
there.
5 feet.
And they have their 5-foot clearance on the sidewalk and they have openings to get to the doors. And yes,
Okay.
What?
You guys already went through this thing.
Yeah, we
Never
know.
did it.
Right.
So, now let's
My-
move
my-
on. For the city, why did they not make a portion of the sign that says parking? You're paying for signs, you don't. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Okay.
The Sutter Creek.
Duly noted.
thank you. Bye. Okay, what happened?
It's okay.
Go back
Let's
to the
just keep going. Hotel Sutter, I think when I looked at that, it looked to me like they were taking all of our comments into consideration.
Yes.
They-
Do you all have any questions or comments?
I'm not good at really seeing what that's gonna look like, but they didn't have any, touchy-feely stuff, so, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I want it to look nice and have our 5 feet and some kind of railing. Looks like that's fine. And probably going to table instead of the high tops is a good idea.
Yeah, well, they're going to the tables that can be moved.
So
So
Right.
that
But-
was one of the comments from the last meeting is just to be able to have some flexibility in that space out there.
So, we met with the owner. There was a little bit of concern about taking out the sidebars if people are gonna push their chairs out into the sidewalk. But I think, the one is at the main entrance. We thought that was okay. It's really the ones on the edges that might be a problem.
Well, they still have that railing, right?
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
we're
but
talking
they
about.
lost the side
So-
railing, so if somebody.
The explanation
their
is,
chairs.
that
But
Yeah, I don't see too much of that going on.
if you look at your agenda packets and flip to the next item, which is a city sign,
Yeah,
you will see the barrier
that thing.
or whatever that is
Yeah.
down at the corner parking lot. And essentially, that is what, no, not that, go back one page. You see the planter picture? Okay, so that is essentially what they're proposing to do,
Mhm.
except a slightly different design.
Yeah.
But it's a freestanding rail
Oh,
that will be anchored to the historical greenstone.
Yeah.
And then doesn't inhibit any flexibility other than protecting the ADA space
Yes.
around us.
Yeah,
route of
it-
service.
it
So I think,
Partitions off a spot for people to eat. It also meets ABC requirements so that, alcohol can't be past this certain spot, those types of things.
so after all this long time, I think we've come up to a very simple and a fairly easy solution.
Mhm.
I was going to ask the committee just one question, because I read the ordinance on outdoor dining structures and whatnot. Because I'm all for making a motion to approve this as applied. I haven't had a chance to confront but we made a comment at the last meeting that the flexibility of what's there is now. I only wonder if going forward, because it's not part of this application, it could actually be removable barriers. They don't have to have 4 anchor bolts per post. They could be sleeved like we do in swimming pool devices. Granted, they'll be a little heavier than some devices.
And
But-
I thought these were supposed to be removed.
Sleeve,
removed
I actually
Oh.
think that they might be.
Because they're not supposed to be, according to the ordinance. I didn't bring the ordinance with me and my
The
apologies.
ordinance says they can be removed, but the current concept of that is drilling and anchoring.
I believe that it's anchored with a sleeve that you can push down in, then you can remove
The
them.
bond is not.
I believe that is what it is too.
That was my understanding of the other.
Savannah's like that.
Savannah's is
Bolted down.
bolted down.
So I
I
like,
like the idea of being able to take it out when there's events or if
Right.
they,
for
So
an
that could-
event or
That could be a
activities.
condition that's added to ensure that it is.
Yeah.
removable.
Well,
Like
it-
Savannah, but it's
So,
solid.
so again, just, we got 2 more items. I just want to,
yeah,
people will
we
be
gotta
showing
keep
up
going.
here.
All right.
I mean, I'm all for doing this as what for approving this as well.
Good.
And I missed Matt's last meeting, so I feel like I should not take too much time on this one. But I did notice that in their drawing, they show the 4-foot space behind the space that you have to put the tables in. It's actually drawn the same as the 5-foot. it makes the space there look larger than it is. It's actually 20% smaller visually. And
Yes.
and I hope it works with the round tables, and they'd probably be able to go back to the bar situation if they decided the round tables didn't work. It may be a little tight. I think it's going to be a little more snug than people realize when you put all those things in the space. But
It allows for that flexibility.
and it allows for that flexibility. So I
Yeah.
think based upon that, I'm all for.
Yeah, they were provided a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch drawing that would show that the 48 inches is actually smaller than the 60 inches, but in this drawing sketch, it looks larger.
Yeah.
That being said, the design, I think, unless Sharon has want to weigh in, I'm ready to move a
Yeah, but-
motion to approve this.
Okay,
This outdoor dining barrier to comply with ADA for the Hotel Sutter to move forward for permitting.
Second,
all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
sign on the street.
Yeah. not a big
So,
deal.
this next one is, actually a city project of a directional, sign, which will be posted on the corner of Main Street and Gopher Flat Road. And the purpose of it is to encourage people to go to the Hanford Street businesses. So, the city will install this sign, and then different businesses, we can change out the plaques on it to the different businesses. And Tom has been working
Okay.
on this, so he
Um,
can speak to it as the applicant if he would like.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, this project started a couple of years ago, and I think some money was spent and it got stalled. And we're trying to move it forward again. So we have asked, businesses, there's a small fee. They basically will pay for their own
What is the?
2-inch. It's like $50, I think. And so we're waiting for responses of how many people want to be on
Well,
it.
that was my question is, because you've got Brown's Auto, Howard's Body Shop, the Closet Store.
Yeah, these are just
and
examples.
CBD store.
These are just examples.
Which is putting sandwich board signs all over town.
Right. So this is a good way to kind of, I mean, we've been trying to nip that one in the bud,
Yes,
but I think
I
now we
know,
can
I
say,
understand.
this is where you should be if you
Yeah.
want to do that.
All right,
So these other businesses like Brown's Auto and Howard's Body Shop, the Closet Store, even this, at this point, the CBD store, they've been notified that for $50 they can be on this or?
Correct.
That's not.
Okay.
And Chaos Glass had started this project a couple of years ago, so
I vaguely remember.
they are definitely,
talking
they're
about it.
definitely on the sign at this point, but we're waiting to hear from others.
Okay.
all right.
My comments is, I don't think it's necessary. Sutter Creek is a small town. You're only talking about a few blocks. People don't get lost. People don't need a great deal of direction. The weigh-in for the Miller's Wine that we did last time, was a little redundant, I thought, but, I'm of the opinion, well, now that you talk about businesses that work further down on Hanford versus Main Extension, I think it's kind of a never-ending scenario. And that corner is going to become potentially, everybody wants a stake in it, another sign, Tom, and it does obstruct some pedestrian activities that view when you're walking and turning to the post office. I just don't know what's necessary at all.
Actually, that's why it got stopped, because I agree with John. I've only been here 20 years, but there are some that are.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked around to meet a lot of the business owners. I think the ones down Hanford would really like this. I think they see the sign on Eureka, points to a lot of those.
Yeah,
And I keep hearing just being a block off Main Street is a barrier for businesses.
It is a barrier. We have this issue with the Night Foundry, making sure that people know that we're down at the end of Eureka Street. And you would think that it's a no-brainer, but
And it's really isn't for residents, right? It's for people visiting
Yeah.
town.
yeah.
that's for visitors, but over the
Uh,
years. they've seen
Waymaking there's a whole art to it, and I think that this is actually a beneficial thing. And beyond that, we're being asked if it looks good.
Right. This is really about the design, trying to get something
About the
that's,
Design, are we happy with the design? And I find it to be consistent with our other signage in the city.
Well,
So,
at 27 inches in width and 40 inches in height and 2 inches for displays, you're really not going to see much as you're driving by.
it's
So
not
it's only a
intended for
pedestrian.
driving. It's
It
for
was just
It's
walking.
only
people
pedestrian
walking.
Orientation.
to remind them that there's more that if you go around the corner. A lot of people even stop when you're walking down the street. We had this problem in Jackson when there wasn't a mural there. People walk, they get to a blank space and it's a natural turnaround if they don't have something to keep them going. So the signage does help. There's psychological reasons for it.
We'll be,
Actually, then my suggestion, it's more readable when I walk down Main Street to have actually put that in front of the Hanford, Gordon Gordon Attorney's Office. On that section, you're walking down towards the end before you get to Gopher Flat. You'll be seeing something moving you a little further to the left, as opposed to at the planter of the farmer's market, which might actually be indicating you need to go up Gopher Flat.
Well, your
So
attorney's
that would be a
office-
better corner, but it's not city property. So that's, I understand that.
Yeah, but they're
comment.
not for tourists. They're for
No, but I'm
locals.
saying, put it over there. The attorney's office not even on here, so they might not want it in
No,
their front yard.
Well, sure.
All right. Do we have any other questions or comments regarding the design?
my only question is, have you taken a pulse of how many businesses would like to join in to this at this point in
Yeah.
time?
I mean, and then again, there's a limit in terms of types of businesses. We said it needs to be primarily retail-like. This sign could have up to 12 businesses. We emailed or mailed 15 that we think could potentially qualify. I don't expect that many. I expect somewhere around 6 or 7.
These
Well,
already,
that fits the sign, but I'm just wondering what happens if there's many more or less.
Yeah, we basically said first come, first serve, and it's the city's decision. So if,
are these already on for, have the ones that you've got?
no, that's what I said,
Yeah.
only kiosk glass.
The fam-
I want to back up. If all we really interested is the signage compatibility with historical context, I'll repeat a comment I've made for a decade or more, or a couple decades. The city of Sutter Creek is the city of Sutter Creek. It is not the city of John Sutter. John Sutter historically spent hardly any time in Sutter Creek. Using his image as a moniker or branding for the city, I talked about 20 years ago as being misplaced, okay? And I would also say this just reaffirms a urban myth. John Sutter has no real connection to Sutter Creek, period. So if this design is something you like, I just think John Sutter's image one more time is, promoting a myth.
It wasn't
Okay. Does the design review committee have a direction on this?
I would say, what's the time element on this thing?
Once you approve, again, the sign maker is ready to move forward. So we'll get the responses and we'll put it up.
Okay, so have you sent the letters out to get responses yet?
We have.
You have. We're waiting on that. Okay. And Eric's doing the board.
Right.
You know, I can see a couple on here, definitely like chaos, the glass,
We're getting mired into the businesses.
so,
Does the design of the sign meet the criteria that's in the design guidelines?
apparently, yeah,
Okay,
John?
No, I don't think it does because it's promulgating an image of Sutter Creek that's not historically correct.
okay. So do I have a motion either way?
Well, we're between a rock and a hard place here. You've already had letters sent out. I would say.
Just do you think the finding we have to make is it consistent with the design regulations or not?
I'll make a motion. I would approve this sign if it removes the John Sutter image. The size, shape, and format and graphics seem to be acceptable to me.
I agree with that.
Okay, is that a second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, okay. I didn't think.
I think it's,
So just so I'm clear,
I don't think
that
it's that big of a deal to remove John Sutter.
everything else is okay. We just take
Yeah.
out the image. Okay.
Okay, and so Susan, you are going to
I
recuse
have to
yourself.
recuse myself.
John, you will take over. We have a couple minutes before planning commission starts, so,
Well, let's try and make
Hopefully-
this fast, if that's
Yeah.
possible.
uh-oh.
Badger one.
So since I'm acting as chair, I can't open the discussion. So Sharon, you
What
open
did
the
we
discussion on this
Susan.
application.
Aye.
Application 5C.
So, I'll just, it's 83 Badger Street and they're requesting a design clearance for exterior siding. Let's see. The front will remain the same. This is kind of a Victorian style house, kind of. So the typical siding is horizontal. The applicant is proposing vertical siding on the sides and the rear, and the front will remain the same as horizontal siding.
I have no problem with it because they're not changing the front and they're matching the color.
Yes.
And they're not touching the damn roof. So I have no problem. And you've got about 1 minute.
I know, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I can let this go. Right.
Can you put some,
Well, I don't know. I noticed today for the first time that it was a tongue and groove. I thought it was going to be a rustic cove siding. It's more of a tongue and groove. It is very horizontal. I kind of like the way it is in terms of that
on the
horizontal.
front, it'll be the same.
It will be. And perhaps it will be just fine to have a different, design down the sides and the back. And so
No one will see it.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so there's John.
Well, my opinion is that this vintage and the standards talk about compatibility in the neighborhood. Badger has great inventory of historically significant properties and the style. The neighbors are all horizontal. The siding can be seen, especially if anybody decides to do the landscaping, from not only both sides of the property on Badger, at certain locations from Spanish Street if you're in somebody else's area. So in keeping with the historic fabric of the city that the standards are intended to, I'd like the applicant to continue to keep, even though you can't replace the exact horizontal, there are a lot of products, Mike O'Neill would address to, that are very similar. So I would advocate that they continue the horizontal Folk Victorian around the restoration of this project. So that's going to probably create us an impasse, and I don't know what that happens.
Well, we have 3, so,
Yeah, but
Just-
he's a no.
Well,
well, he could, a motion could be made with conditions.
Yes.
And just, when a motion fails, it's like the
Have
opposite.
the neighbors been able to see this? Was anything?
We
don't
had
know
no
if they've
comments
talked-
from neighbors.
Okay.
I think one of them's a rental, not likely.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe they could also appeal the decision. Oh, a member of the public. Okay.
You want to come up to the microphone?
Yeah, if you could speak into the mic, if you could come speak into the microphone, sorry, just so Karen.
Do a quick background. The rear of the house is where we're addressing. This new siding was built by Dave way back in 96. The existing siding is a aluminum siding that was damaged during the storm last year. This is an ongoing process of a long-running insurance claim. The future project for this is what we're proposing is not just horizontal, but board and batten, which falls within the guidelines and is historically correct. It is a miner's cabin that's been modified like about 30% of the houses in that area of Badger Street, which were initially board and batten. The reason we're not going further than that is that what they hope to do is continue with the board and batten look as finances allow. So that's why it's been instigated right now for the permit to go board and batten. and eliminate the aluminum siding, which has been deteriorating and falling off.
Is that just on the rear that has the aluminum siding?
It's aluminum
It's
siding.
Only on the rear face.
It was an addition that was built back in 96.
Yeah, my question is, the one that faces the rear, that's the aluminum, there's no other aluminum
There's-
siding, or is it come up
It's the
sides
whole,
as well?
it's the whole addition in the rear.
Oh,
There's
I
no,
see. So
there
right
is
at the
no
corner.
street view of this, except there is a point, what John brought up, is if you're driving north on, Badger Street, and you stopped your car and viewed way over, you would see this new siding from that point.
Well, vehicle scenarios are really not, we're trying, Sutter Creek is a pedestrianly oriented place. We're not on a freeway. So
No, that's what I'm saying is it's really not visible.
our character and our fabric is more pedestrian oriented than that. This is not
Oh,
a
you mean,
bypass.
oh, the walking, okay.
And the neighborhood
Mhm.
is predominantly, yes, you're right, historically older,
Mhm.
remodeled. But the
Correct.
historic core of those structures goes back prior to the board and batten. Okay.
No, Board and Batten was the original siding.
I would maybe disagree with you.
Okay, well, we could go over that some other time. Yeah,
Halo Planning Commission.
Hey, Aaron, where are we?
I mean, we're not, neither one of us are that old yet, but.
So, we would need, unless there's more discussion,
Need a motion one
Motion.
way or another. I can't make a motion. So I can't make.
What?
The chair can't make a motion, so.
Nice. So one of us need to make.
Go for it. I can second it.
this is still design review. Yeah.
Are you okay with it or?
Well, knowing that there's two people, I much prefer to keep I agree with John in terms of I think it's less likely that there was actually a board and batten house at that point in time. I see them more likely that their garages, their board and batten construction, and less likely for the house itself that it is typically. It seems like the tongue and groove would be the best solution to me, that would simply restore the rest of the house, that part of the house that doesn't have, has aluminum siding, go with a tongue and groove or a horizontal siding, even if it was clapboard or something like that, would be better. But
It's still design review.
you want to move on, of course, and so I guess I will move. I'll move that we,
You can approve it with changes or you can approve.
well, I move that we approve it with, it's written, by our,
Okay,
So
but-
as they have applied, the
as they
application.
have applied,
Okay.
yes, I'll make that proposal and
second.
see what happens.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Well,
So,
Mike, we didn't
and
hear
I-
your vote.
Oh.
I will say aye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been approved as presented.
So that's enough for a quorum.
Yes.
Okay.
2-1.
Yeah.
Unless somebody wishes to appeal it because we don't have a 5.
And so with that, we can. I'll let
That
you
being the last item, anybody have anything else to share? Then I would adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I-
Busy meeting tonight.
All right. Thank you all very much.